So about a year ago, I started a 30-day challenge, 30 days of reflection. What I mean by that was I was making videos with the intent of reviewing 30 different moments or 30 different experiences that I have learned from, and tell a story about it and reflect on it and tell you, whoever you are who's listening, watching, you know, what I have learned with those experiences, whether it be from my past, my present, you know, or a combination of all. you know, I discuss those things. It was designed for me to, reflect on myself, one, and think back on my life, but also for the people who are listening, or may just come across this, I want you to do the same. The point is for you to listen to me, hear me, and relate if you can. And if you can't, at least put it in perspective and try to put yourself in my shoes or someone else's shoes, and get a better grasp of the things that may go on in the person's mind and how it affects who they are or affected who they were in the past, maybe the present, and potentially the future. So as I circle back around and I come back into my reflections as I finish my 30 sessions, because I only managed to do 10, because I hit a roadblock, I want you to rejoin me again and walk through this with me again and help me finish my challenge as well as start your own. And as I mentioned previously in the old videos, you don't have to do a vlog like me. You don't have to make videos like me, and you don't have to post them like me. You can write a journal, 30 entries in a journal, 30 entries in your notes on your phone, make 30 posts on social media, reflecting. It doesn't have to be the way that I'm doing it, but I want you, whoever you are, to join me and understand the value of it. Today, I'm going to talk about how difficult it was for me to make friends as a child and how that impacts my present, in small ways. It's not as significant as it was when I was younger, but, I see and I understand where a lot of things went wrong, why a lot of things were so difficult, so painful, so challenging. I know that now, so I just want to recount it, go through it, and help you understand. So as I mentioned in other videos, in this 30-day reflection challenge, or just any of my videos, I'm always going to reference it and always go back to who I was as a child and who I was as a teenager, a lot, because there's so much there for me and there's so much there for you, and you don't even know it, depending on how you live. I was quiet. I was, a weirdo, many times called, didn't have a lot of friends, didn't always have a partner or people to play with at school and at summer camps and stuff that I did. I wasn't always that kind of kid. I was always that one that's always off in the distance by themselves, or if I'm amongst the people, I was still always quiet, or I didn't really talk, or I didn't really laugh, I didn't really play, stuff like that, And you don't realize as a kid and even as a teenager how much that affects you, when you are isolated and when you are not included all the time. I think back to elementary and middle school first. I was always fighting with people. I was always emotionally unstable. I will always argue. I will argue with teachers. I would go back and forth very often, not every day, but very often. I would get into so many spats and situations because I just couldn't control my mind. I couldn't control my emotions. Heck, I couldn't even control my mouth at times. And it's just because I had so much difficulty navigating that and understanding that. I needed therapy, and as I mentioned in previous videos, I'm happy that I went. Everybody has different opinions and perspectives on therapy, but I can say for a fact, I'm very happy I went when I was in 4th grade and 5th grade and didn't really need it that much afterwards, depending on what part we're talking about, because I went. It changed everything for me to realize who I am and how to make friends and how to be more patient, how to be tolerant, how to ignore people. Even after I went to therapy and into middle school, it was still hard for me to just, when people pick at you and just, want to make fun of you or whatnot. People do it. It's normal. It's a part of school life. It's a part of social life. People like to, make fun of other people to make themselves feel better, or just to get a couple laughs. And it's not like I didn't ever do the same thing once I became more confident or I became a new person, and, I start to realize the shortcomings of other people and the little goofy things that other people. It's not like I never made fun of anybody, or I've never, probably made somebody feel embarrassed or made them feel the way that I felt without realizing it, and even when I did realize it made me feel bad. In fact, it made me feel even worse when I started to be like the people and become like the people that I didn't like. I became just like them. There's a popular saying, and quote, or whatever, how you want to word it, that everybody says, or have heard at least once, is, the more you run away from something, the more you run into it. The more you try not to be something, the more you become it. Stuff like that. And that was really the case, many times. I had to fight a lot myself, and literally fight people, of course, to fit in, to be accepted. I wanted to be, I wanted to make people laugh. I wanted to make people accept me, and I had some months and, almost a year worth of really trying hard to fit in, and be amongst the popular crowd, be amongst the kids, the same kids that, always fought with me and argued with me and made fun of me and picked on me, right? I grew to a point where I wanted to be a part of them because I got so tired of being against them and not with them. But you realize over time that you're just betraying yourself. You just, conforming and submitting to their will because you become who they want you to be, and you become a puppet in some ways. And when I snapped out of that and started to realize, they only like me because I'm entertainment to them. They only like me because I'm making them laugh. They only like it because, I'm being who they are, but that's not really who I was. Transition that into high school, because I know I covered this many times before, but to transition that into high school, it was even more difficult being in a bigger school with more strangers of different backgrounds and different cultures. It was even more difficult to find out who I was and make friends. It was even more difficult, but at the same time, like high school is for most people, you start to find the cliques. You start to find the groups of people who are exactly like you, who identify with certain parts of you, and you find peace in that. You find comfort in that, And I've made several friends throughout high school. I've been over several people's houses, met several people's parents, hung out after school, with several people, and I love them for that. And I thank them for that because they have no idea. They have no idea who they are and how much it really meant to me, because I wasn't the type of person to really be like, oh, you're really my friend, man. I'm really cool with you. I really like you. I really want to be friends and stuff for a long time. I never said those kind of things, but deep down inside of me, and even till this day, I love and appreciate everyone who gave me time, who gave me energy, who wanted me around, who gave me snacks, who gave me food, who invited me to their house, because I didn't have that for so long. For so many years, I did not have friends. For so many years, I did not connect with anyone. So everyone that I did meet in high school and everyone that I did spend hours and hours talking with and, listening to their life and their stories, it meant so much to me. It meant so much to me, because I didn't have it. Again, I didn't have it. I could say that 100,000 times. I did not have friends. I really did not. And even though I had two best friends at the time, before high school, that I knew, one since 5th grade and one since 6th grade, it was such a relief, to have two people that I was really close with. But in high school, as we all know, high school, you drift apart and you start to realize how different you are from other people, and even your friends that you did have from childhood, you start to realize how different you are. So sometimes you want to make other friends and you hang around other people. And it was such a relief, and I grew so much and I became more confident, and it made me so happy that I was able to meet new people and they actually accepted me for who I was. Now, of course, I had to battle with other people, still messing with you, still calling you out, still dealing with you. Just couldn't be left alone. I wanted to be left alone a lot of times, but I just couldn't be left alone. Of course, still had to deal with it. But up until I was about a junior, and in my senior year, I was fully aware and fully alert with the ways of people and myself. And it wasn't until then, that I became 100%, at least in that time frame, 100% of who I wanted to be and who I was. And I didn't care anymore about how people felt about me and what people thought about me and what people had to say. I no longer needed a desire, no longer needed and had a desire to fit in, to be included, to be wanted, because I knew how to look for and how to find other kids, other teenagers that I wanted to be around. And I knew how to navigate it. Now, I transitioned to that until my adulthood for the last couple minutes of this. In my adulthood, of course, I still, even when I joined the Army, that's a big open world. That's a big open lifestyle. You meet so many people from all over the world, all over the country. And that was even more overwhelming, but a different challenge. I was open to it and I wanted it because I knew it was going to make me better. It was going to make me stronger mentally and emotionally, and it did. And it paid off 100%. And throughout the entire boot camp and Army training experience, man, I was sweating bullets almost every day because I was so nervous and had so much anxiety and didn't know how to navigate socializing. And I thank all those people in the Army, that I met, that made me comfortable, that spent time with me, that we talked hours and hours and days, and got to know each other and learned their lifestyles and their culture and how they was raised, of all races, Asian, white, black, Latino, doesn't matter. People from completely overseas. I met so many different European people. It's crazy. It's crazy, and I thank them. And I love them for those memories, and I will always hold those close to me, and I will always share that with people because it's so motivating, it's so inspiring to be around people that you don't know, especially when they mean well, right? Not people you don't know that are trying to hurt you, that don't care about you, that could care less, but people who actually give you their energy and their time, and they mean it, and they mean it. It's a totally different feeling. So to close this out, I still find it hard to make friends. I still find it hard to trust people. I still find it hard to accept when people mean well, and really accept compliments, accept gifts, accept that certain people are interested in me, at times. And it's hard to tell because I'm always on alert because of what I've been through. It's very difficult to trust people, because we know out here people play games and manipulate other people to get what they want and make friends with people just to make themselves look better or just to make the other person look worse. People do these things all through school life, childhood, teenage years, college, and in the workplace and amongst our careers. These things happen all the time. And you got to be aware of it. You got to be alert because certain people are not your friends. Certain people do not care about you. Certain people want you dead. You never know how deeply someone feels about you in a negative way, and you never know how deeply somebody feels about you in a positive way. You just have to pay attention and be aware and use everything you've been through as a reference point, and as well talk to other people and see what they think about the situations that you have going on and what they think about the things you do and the things people say. You gotta balance it out and use life for what it is. And that's really all I got. I don't want to drag too much, but friends, man, it's a crazy thing because as humans, we need each other. We have to interact. We have to talk. We have to communicate. We have to feel. We have to learn. We have to know certain things. And unfortunately, as much as I like being by myself and I enjoy being by myself, there are times where I have to talk to people. And just like anything else, you have to ask for help eventually. You have to be humble eventually. It's just what it is. And sometimes you have to make friends, even if it's only for a year, a couple months, maybe a decade, and then if you don't need them anymore, or they don't want to be your friend anymore, so be it. That's just a part of life, and we have to learn how to not take everything so hard in life, because some people are only meant to be your friends for a certain amount of time. You understand? Only meant to be your friend for a certain amount of time, for better or for worse. Stick around for the next video.